Good morning. It is Monday, July 10th, puts us 90 days out from October 8th. So we're now at the point where we're 90 days out from like Columbus Day weekend, Indigenous Peoples weekend. I get a day off on Monday weekend, whatever you call it, whatever you celebrate, whatever's near and dear to your heart. We're 90 days out from that first long weekend in October. So again, we're always going to have this conversation to remind you whether you like it or not. I mean, I looked just to add to the dreariness of the weather that I think most of the state is experiencing. Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. I trust you did. We're 175 days left in the year. 175 days left in the year. So I can tell you that our youngest, and for those of you that know the great Cameron Francis Lindsay, he's very excited because we're closing in on Christmas in July, which he's lobbying to have like some sort of a shrubbery put up with lights and maybe we'll exchange gifts. Not going to happen. All that aside, 175 days left in the year. So the question for you is, what do you want it to look like? This is why we did business planning clinic before the 4th of July. That's why we do that halftime business planning clinic. It's so important to understand that we can control what we want our next 90 days to look like. And every one of us is ultimately aware of what we need to do. We have to start to focus on getting out of our own way, allowing ourselves to be great, right? You don't need to be great to start. You have to start to be great. We have to uncover the opportunity for us to just start to have the conversations in whatever form that, if that, like, people want to go door knocking, people want to door knock a neighborhood, they want to door knock Main Street and introduce themselves to business owners. We have to get into conversation. People aren't just going to discover that you're doing real estate. They could over time. You could only run marketing. And you could sit and wait for the phone to ring. And it will be a very long time before anything happens, right? So we want to be active. We want to be prospecting. We always want marketing in the background, but that is a passive form of lead generation, marketing. Prospecting is active. And it's in the service of, and this is what we're always looking to get and do, always. And I will die on this hill. And I know I say that a lot, so it starts to lose meaning. Look at all the gray hair I have. I will die on this hill. We must remain uber listing focused. You guys had a phenomenal June, setting up for a phenomenal July. You guys have embraced the new market. You're helping your clients understand the new math. These are the rates. This is where pricing is. We are an anomaly in New England. We are very fortunate to be in a part of the country where we don't necessarily get punched in the face the way the rest of the country does. And I'll repeat that. We do not get punched in the face the way the rest of the country does. We are very fortunate to be in a marketplace where people want to be here for lifestyle, where people want to be here for secondary education, where people want to be here to be able to celebrate the fact that they are closer to skiing and surfing and all of that. And above and beyond that, one of probably the most important reasons people will transplant for some time or just move permanently, God forbid they have somebody who needs them to move permanently, is our major medical. These are all things that play in our favor. Not to mention it's a beautiful part of the country. We don't deal with a lot of weirdness when it comes to weather. And we have to lean into that conversation. And you individually know who you are. You need to start to celebrate the fact that you chose to be in this space to help people. Now, it is profit first. We're not all doing this for a handshake and a cup of lemonade. It's profit first, and we want to be dead serious about that, but we absolutely need to start focusing on listings. And I don't care what your role is. I will pick a fight with your rainmaker or your team lead. I'm not trying to, but hear me when I say this loud and clear. We are in constant pursuit of listings in service of our buyers. We should always be in pursuit of listings so we can serve our buyers. We're going to talk about this in depth tomorrow. We're doing Winning with Buyers tomorrow. So there's two big classes that we're doing the next couple of Tuesdays. Tomorrow in Portsmouth and on the Zooms. So tomorrow in Portsmouth and on Keller TV, we're doing Win with Buyers. It's a full day class. We're going to go through all the things. We're going to talk about the buyer intake sheet, wildly important. We're talking about the conversations we're having, how we're helping people uncover their motivations and work through their circumstances that they have stacked up in their head that's keeping them from making the next logical move for them and their loved ones. And then in 2 weeks on the 25th, we're going to jump into Win with Sellers. 2 phenomenal classes. I hope that you will make time to join us for that. And you're going to hear us talking about getting more listings tomorrow. That's how we win with buyers. If you have buyers right now, I ask you guys this all the time. Are you working with them or are you waiting with them? Because if we're working with our buyers, if we're truly working with our buyers, we have our nose down like a bloodhound looking for the next opportunity for them. If we know exactly what they're looking for, we can reverse engineer a listing to serve them, which will be a story they'll never stop telling. I think we get caught up in our heads and I'm working with the buyer, so I'm just going to help them shop for a house or find a house. We have to stop finding houses with our buyers and start finding houses for our buyers. When we get caught up in the fact that our buyer calls us because they found something and they're telling us about it, said with love, we're doing it wrong. That's how we become the facilitator. We're just filling out paperwork. That's not going to be a raving review. And there's no judgment in this. Everyone's guilty of it. Most of the agents at our market center are working with a handful of buyers, each and every one of you. Most of you have more buyers than you have listings. That should tell us everything we need to know. And I don't say this to ignore the celebration of the fact that you guys crushed June and you're about to kick July in the face too. My question for you as a coach is, what if we treated our responsibilities differently when it came to buyers? So Win with Buyers is tomorrow in Portsmouth and on Keller TV. I trust you'll join us for that. If you're in the building, we're going to feed your face. Our dear friends at Movement Mortgage, the great Bradley James Kelly and his team, stepping up to serve you guys some sustenance right around noontime. It's a great class. Everyone could learn something tomorrow. So let's get together. Let's make sure we're sharing our best practices. We're helping each other grow. And we're just going over what it truly looks like to win with our buyers by working for them. Let's stop finding houses with our buyers and start finding houses for our buyers. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Super looking forward to it. Later on this morning, I will be getting together with our proven cappers. Once a capper, always a capper. You're joining me at 11 o'clock. That is on Keller TV. We're going to have a conversation about what the second half of the year looks like, what we're focused on, what maybe started to slip away from us. I want everybody to think about this as we have conversations for the rest of the balance of the year, for the final 175 days of the year. And then, as always, because of the unbelievable access that you guys have to your brokers, at 1 o'clock on Keller TV, it's Ask the Brokers with JV and Westcott. Tomorrow on the Quick Start, I'm going to have Valerie from Your Realty Leverage coming on to talk more about all the services they offer. Are you looking for the VA? Are you looking for the VTC, the Virtual Transaction Coordinator, the Virtual Assistant? Are you looking for some marketing collateral? Brindley and Valerie and their entire team, Mandy, they can help you pull some stuff off your plate, right? What is your genius zone? Where do you want to be? Well, Tim, I want to be out. I want to be signing babies and shaking hands and getting more deals. Give yourself the opportunity to do that. And you can put, right, if it's a VA, that's going to be an expense. You're going to pay them once a week. An expense, as we know from Business Planning Clinic, is something that happens every month, whether or not we close deals. Your VTC is going to be a cost of sale. They get paid when you close. But to be able to take $400 to have somebody else babysit your deal while you go get more deals is a massive opportunity. So we'll be talking to Valerie about that. And on Wednesday, I do believe by the time we get to the end of the week, we do have an opportunity to pick our winner for Couch to 10K. So everybody that was involved in Couch to 10K earned points with listings and buyers. And we're going to stack up all those points, throw all those names in a hat, and run that random number generator to make sure we determine who our winner is. So obviously, the more things you put together in that second quarter, Zoe's got all the numbers worked out, and she's going to throw your name in as many times as you earn the points, and then we're going to obviously just draw one. So it's like the NBA draft. If you have more ping pong balls in, the likelihood that you're going to win is higher and higher and higher. That's going to be an opportunity to go to Mega Camp. And if you're not heading to Mega Camp, we will turn it into Maps Bucks. And we can work all that out between me, Zoe, you, and of course Kaylee and Tristan. Because we might put some Maps Bucks in the bank for you if you want to do it that way, if you're not heading to Austin next month. Either way, there's a lot of stuff coming up. Above and beyond that, don't forget Go To Bold, GOTOBOLD, Go To Bold. Bold is coming Wednesday, August 9th. It's going to be at the Dairy Field. We're teaming up with our friends over at Metropolitan. That is going to send you through your 7 weeks of Bold. We're going to have James Farron on, who is the Bold coach. He's coming on to join us in the next couple of weeks to talk about that opportunity. When you graduate from Bold on September 27th, you also have earned the right to get yourself paid back. So it's an investment. It's a temporary investment in yourself of that $7.99 to go to those 7 weeks, to be in the room with other people that are working at a really high level and changing your mindset and your activities, which will ultimately change your results, right? We talk about this all the time. Point FAR. If you heard us talk about Point FAR, PTFAR. What this means: programming, thoughts, feelings, activities, results, or actions and results. And I think people get set in their ways, and I would agree. I think if you're of a certain age, and depending on where you grew up, I think our upbringing has a lot to do with it. Most of us have our programming pretty well locked and loaded. I'm going to speak for myself, obviously, and this is how I personally feel. I think once you get on the other side of 30, you've got pretty hardwired thinking. I'm 21 past 30, so I'll go here with it. I don't think there's too many people that are going to sit down and change the way I think or feel about my faith or my political views. Not that I'm not open to change, but you get pretty set in your ways. So those neuro pathways, our programming from our upbringing, the households we were raised in, the faith we were raised in, the thoughts that we were raised in. And right, whether we're leading or not leading, we're leading. So what were your thoughts about what you could do? So for me, growing up, watching my mom, for the most part, be a stay-at-home mom, she did some Mary Kay cosmetics. Other than that, my dad got home and had one job the whole time he was alive until he retired. But it was like he went to college, he went to Vietnam, he got home, he worked in one place. And for a lot of people my age, that's what you experienced. Your parents just went to work. It was what it was. And the story that you were told was you need to go to college, then you need to get a good job, and then you raise a family. Right? Now, everybody who can hear the sound of my voice who has decided to be a business owner inside this little thing of ours at KWCLM has thought differently. You're not looking for a job. You're looking for a career. You want to build a legacy. So you started to think differently. So the programming of the neural pathways that are branded into your DNA. But when we start to think differently, and as coaches and peers and teammates of one another, we are encouraged to help each other think differently. If I can help you think differently, and this is ultimately the credo of my role as your coach, my job is to help you think differently so you can get what you want when you want it. That translates usually into making me cause you to feel uncomfortable. Having me make you think bigger. And if we can do that, we can get you outside of your comfort zone. We know that's where the growth is. So when we start to think differently than our original programming, or the programming that's aligned us on a path for so long, now I start to think differently. When my thoughts change, my feelings change. When my feelings change, I start to behave differently. My actions change. My activities change. And by and large, in essence of all of this, we garner different results. Then it gets us back to our programming. Maybe that neural pathway, that bridge of thought starts to crumble a little bit. If it doesn't, there's still that new neural pathway because you started to think differently. So I go down that thought path again, or I create even another new one, or I keep building on that new thought path, which changes the way I feel. I'm continuing to feel better and act differently and garner different results. Some of the neural pathways, some of the programming from your childhood, from your upbringing, from your past experiences may never go away. They're always going to be there. And I would count that as a blessing because we don't ever really want to forget where we came from, though we want to travel in a different direction. Because taking the same neural pathway, taking the same bridge to the same destination, that is the definition of insanity, to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So if bold can be a piece of that change, if win with sellers in 2 weeks on the 25th can be a piece of that change, if tomorrow win with buyers here in Portsmouth and on Keller TV can be a piece of that change, if coming to your next production mastermind, proven cappers today for our cappers, could be a piece of that change, having your next conversation with your fellow agent, with your accountability buddy, scripting in the morning with your scripting partner, booking my face at meetwithcoach.com, texting or calling me when you have a question or just need to clear your head and your heart so you can go on and do what you need to do. Maybe that's a piece of the change. There's 175 days left in the year. What will you do differently? What new neural pathway will you create? How will you start to think differently so you can feel differently, so you can take different action, so you can experience different results? That's between you and your plan. Unless you let somebody into the conversation. I'd love to be part of the conversation. And if I can help with that, please let me know. It is 603-834-2856. You can also book my face at meetwithcoach.com. I trust you'll have a great day. I look forward to seeing you in and around the Market Center. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow here in Portsmouth or on KellerTV.com for Win with Buyers. Take care.